What to think about when you're born into a fire. Let 'em burn it out. Sell 'em to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
Hey. What's up, guys? I'm here. Had to run to Walmart right before they close, get some freaking antifreeze. I think Mariah's car is low on antifreeze. Anyways, I did make it. Eventually.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Will Bird. This is the Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. Look out. Egg prices on the drop. Okay? The bottom has fallen out of the egg price. Look at this. It's amazing. From $8.20 down to $2.92. Isn't that amazing? I think we should all take a moment to thank God Emperor Trump. Send a prayer, maybe. Except this isn't egg prices. This is not egg prices. No matter how many times people show you this, this isn't egg prices. This is egg prices. You guys can't see the end of the chart. Hold on. This is egg prices, right? all the way through February, the end of February. Why don't we have March up there? Well, March hasn't ended. We don't know what the price will be. It is a rocket to the top. These are the actual egg prices. This is the contract for difference. I don't know how many times we're going to have to do the same fucking thing. End Wokeness posted it today. And, of course, that's Jack Posobiec's, like, back channel or whatever. And then a bunch of other people. I saw Sticks, Hex and Hammer. Or here it is. Egg prices continue to fall below $3. But people are putting in his comments, like, I'm at the store right now. My egg prices are $7.99 a dozen. Because this isn't egg prices. This isn't it. Nowhere tracks minute by minute, second by second egg prices. We take the prices over the entire nation, the average, and we track that month to month. This is a commodity. So basically what contract for difference is, it's kind of like when you like short a stock. So what you're trying to do is this tells us that whoever these investors are that are doing contract for difference, they believe the price is going to drop. And they bought in at a certain level. And then if the price drops above that, they can sell it. If the price goes below that, they can sell it. You're not locked in like a short. Like when you short a stock, you can sell it anytime. But these are people just trading on what they think future egg prices will be and trying to make money. They don't own eggs. They don't buy eggs. They don't physically own any of these eggs. This is literally like gambling. They do it a lot of times with like fucking ETFs and shit, right? Or trading on futures contracts. This is contract for difference. This absolutely is not egg prices. I don't know why people keep sharing it and saying, oh, weren't the liberals worried about egg prices? That's crazy because eggs are still $6 and haven't dropped in my area. Weird. It's almost as if this is all a lie. Like you all repeat the same thing, hoping it sticks, and we believe it. It's not working. What works is if they actually go down. I don't know why people keep sharing this. Like, I know why. Because if you Google current egg prices, the very first thing that comes up is trading economics. And if you click on the very first, and you don't look at anything else, but only the very first link, this is what you get. Only the very first link. That's it. This says on May, the eggs were $1. If this was egg prices, in May, eggs were $1.40 something a dozen. Does that ring a bell? But if you click on any other link, like this one, egg prices going up. This one, U.S. retail egg prices going up. They literally can't be bothered to click more than one link. And it's usually only one person does it and takes a screenshot like the elder millennial, and then everybody else shares it. This is not egg prices. It does say eggs US dollar per dozen, whatever. But if you read right here, it says eggs US decreased to $2.89 US dollars a dozen, or 49.69%. Since the beginning of 2025, according to trading on a contract for difference that tracks the benchmark market for this commodity. Literally, they're still over $6 a dozen. Eggs are still expensive. Eggs are still very expensive. I think that the Biden administration, I'm not sure. Okay, Biden. Before Biden left office, didn't they work out a deal from some foreign country to import a bunch of eggs? Invest up to $1 billion. before Biden left office, didn't they do something to import a bunch of eggs from a foreign country? Wasn't that like a news story? From like Turkey or some shit? I don't remember. I remember hearing that, but I don't know if it's true. Anyways, you can fact check it. This is not egg prices. Stop letting people share this and tell you, oh, I thought the left was worried about it. We weren't worried about egg prices, first of all. Second of all, it was your guy who said he could fix it day one. So all we're asking is, where are these day one promises? He said he could fix it day one. He won. Day one came. Then he said, it's hard. Anyways, this is the one that you can't see the end of because chat's in the way. But it's literally, March isn't here yet. But I'm pretty sure it's going up because if this is the national average, I was just at the store 2 days ago and took a picture of egg prices. They were $6.99 a dozen. And I live in a really cheap place to like live. Like cost of living's very low here. And they were $6.99 a dozen. And this is maxed out at $5.89 a dozen. So I'm pretty sure that March is going to be higher. Maybe after March it comes down, but don't let them gaslight you with a contract for difference. People day trading, they don't even own the commodity. Like when you do contract for difference, you own 0 eggs. What you're doing is you're buying a contract and saying, I think the price is going to drop or I think it's going to go up, and you can sell it. But you never even invested in eggs. You're just betting. It would be like if I said, I'm betting on this such and such team to win, and they're going to win. I bet $1,000 on this team to win, so that shows they're going to win. But then you found out that I didn't actually bet on the game. I bet on, will this punter kick over 60 yards? Will he have over a 60-yard punt in the first quarter? Right? That's not the same as me betting on the game and saying that I know this team will win because I bet on them. I bet on their punter to kick a 60-yard punt in the first quarter. They're completely different things, and they're not indicative of the other. Well, the team still might win, right? Egg prices still might come down. These people trading CFD may see something that we don't see, but egg prices have not fallen. They just haven't. By the way, the title is obviously a lie. Republicans have backpedaled, lied over and over and over and over again. In fact, because the full text chain is leaked now, including timing, tempo. Some of them were like, some of the strikes were like dependent on certain things. Some of the strikes were no matter what, these are when the bombs will fall no matter what kind of deal. A lot of stuff that is obviously classified. Even if he said it was unclassified, it's still, all you have to do, you don't have to, it doesn't matter if you're a Republican, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat, it doesn't matter if you like Trump or you hate Trump. If the person that we were attacking had this information, could it help them in some way, right? Could they avoid it? Could they fire back? I don't know if you guys know this, but the Houthis have anti-aircraft capabilities. They've shot down an F-16. They have shot down an F-16. So if this information wouldn't have been sent to the journalist, it would have just been sent to our enemies. If they would have benefited from that, then you're wrong. You're just in the wrong. Just say you're in the wrong. Now we get to listen to Mike Waltz, talk about how I just had one contact in for another contact with a different number, and it just got sucked in, Laura. It just got sucked in there. I take full responsibility. I take full responsibility for the journalist being there. But also, we're looking in to how that number just got sucked into there. The fuck does that even mean? Here you go.
Chat, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. Advisor Waltz, thank you for joining us tonight. The president expressed complete confidence in you today and his entire cabinet. But how did a Trump-hating editor of The Atlantic end up on your Signal chat?
Oh, the big thing that they're, because they published the rest of the text at a different story, their big gotcha now is that originally the title of it was the Trump administration texts me their war plans. And then they changed the title to be more accurate, I think. On the next article, it says their attack plans. And I think that's probably more accurate. But they're like, oh, they're already backpedaling. At first it was war plans. Now it's attack plans. To a journalist or to the regular public, is there a big difference here? By the way, I love that they are starting to call Pete Hegseth Whiskey Leaks instead of WikiLeaks. That made my fucking day.
You know, Laura, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but of all the people out there, somehow this guy who has lied about the president, who has lied.
By the way, again, he's going to take full responsibility because he made the group. But also he's going to say, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but somehow, miraculously, this guy got put in there. Yeah, you did it. You're saying I take full responsibility for making the group. You can't also say, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but this sounds like a conspiracy to me.
No, Laura, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but of all the people out there, somehow this guy who has lied about the president, who has lied to Gold Star families, lied to their attorneys, and gone to Russia hoax, gone to just all kinds of links.
This is obviously the talking points that they've handed out to everybody. Talk about how horrible this guy is. Talk about how horrible his publication is. Talk about how he's a liar and he peddles and misinformation about Trump and blah, 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 blah.
To lie and smear the president of the United States, and he's the one that somehow gets on somebody's contact and then gets sucked into this group.
Gets on somebody's contacts and gets sucked into this group. When you log on to Signal, it uses your phone number, and it asks you your name, and you put it in. Mine's CBC, right? If you have him saved in your phone, okay, it's just like Telegram. So on Telegram, Mariah is on Telegram, but in my phone book, she's saved as Sugar Tits. So when I go to tag Mariah on Telegram, I can't put at Merbird or whatever, Lavada, whatever her name is. I have to put at Sugar Tits. That tags her for me. If I use her username, it doesn't tag her. It tags her as what I got saved the contact in. So either one, you just looked at the JG and put him in there thinking it was someone else. Or two, you missaved. He didn't just get sucked in. Again, if we didn't use Signal for these sensitive topics, this wouldn't be a problem. No journalist gets accidentally sucked in to a skiff.
In your intel, is someone in your intel team trying to cause trouble here? Because that's the scuttlebutt out there.
Look, we have people. No, look, this is a great group. The president has a great team. This is not first term.
No, your team. I'm not talking about the other principals.
No. These were principals and a couple of staff that were coordinating, as you saw, having a policy discussion as we went forward. And then just in the days before, what was an incredible strike. Not only did we take out people that the Biden team never could, that we took out headquarters, missile caches, and actually one of the leaders of the Houthi organization. We've since taken out several since. And that's what they don't want to talk about. They don't want to talk about the success here. They don't want to talk about the hostages getting released. They don't want to talk.
No, great success. Awesome. Good job. You still fucked up.
About the Black Sea ceasefire that we just put in place today as the president ends the largest land war in Europe, or the border, or the fact that Panama just kicked China out of the canal, and success after success after success. So they want to focus on this. It's embarrassing, yes. We're going to get to the bottom of it. I just talked to Elon on the way here. We've got the best technical minds looking at how this happened. But I can tell you.
You added him to the group. It literally says you have been added by Mike Waltz to this group at the top of the message thread. Then it says he also added Marco Rubio. You can't see the people that were added before you. You can only see people that are added after you. So he was like second to last to be added, I think.
I can tell you for 100%. I don't know this guy. I know him by his horrible reputation, and he really is the bottom scum of journalists. And I know him in the sense that he hates the president, but I don't text him. He wasn't on my phone, and we're going to figure out how.
He wasn't on my phone. I don't text him. He wasn't on my phone. He just got sucked in.
So you don't know what staffer is.
Now listen, you know what staffer did this. I take full responsibility. Then how'd it happen? He just got sucked in. He got sucked in.
Responsible for this right now?
Well, look, a staffer wasn't responsible, and look, I take full responsibility. I built the group. My job is to make sure everything's coordinated.
But how did that number? I mean, I don't mean to be pedantic here, but how did the number?
Have you ever had somebody's contact that shows their name, and then you have somebody else's number there?
I never make those mistakes.
Right? You got somebody else.
So unless you let someone else put contacts into your personal phone, it's still your fault, dude.
His number on someone else's contact. So of course I didn't see this loser in the group. It looked like someone else. Now whether he did it deliberately or
whether he did it deliberately, right? He might have went into my phone that's in my possession 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and deliberately look like someone else.
you got somebody else's number on someone else's contact. So of course I didn't see this loser in the group. It looked like someone else. Now whether he did it deliberately or it happened in some other technical mean is something we're trying to figure out.
So a staffer did not put his contact information.
No,
but how did it end up in your
that's
phone?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Okay, but that's a pretty big.
It's very boomerish of you to not even be able to figure it out still.
Probably.
That's what we've got the best technical minds, right?
That's disturbing.
And that's where
Again, I'll do mine right now. If I go to Signal and let's say I type a new message, it says new group, find by username, find by phone number. And then it tells me people in my contacts, like my nephew, a guy I went to school with, another guy, a guy I used to work with. These are people that I have in my contacts, that I've saved in my contacts, that also have the Signal app. And I could add them because I've got their number, I've got their name, they're saved in my contacts. He just got sucked in. Whether he did that deliberately, we're trying to figure it out right now, Laura. We're trying to figure that out. This could be deliberate.
I mean, I'm sure everybody out there has had a contact where it was said one person and then a different phone number.
But you've never talked to him before, so how's the number on your phone? I mean, I'm not an expert in any of this, but it's just curious. How's the number on your phone?
Well, if you have somebody else's contact and then somehow it gets
someone
sucked
sent
in,
you that
it gets
contact.
sucked in.
He was looking for Jamison Greer. That's who he was looking for. In November of 2024, President-elect Donald Trump announced his intent to nominate Greer to become United States Trade Representative. Greer is the first Mormon cabinet-level official since Mike Leavitt served as Secretary of Health and Human Services in 2009. The Senate Committee on Finance voted 15-12 to approve his nomination February 12th. On February 26th, the United States Senate confirmed his nomination by 56-4. He was trying to put in Jamison Greer. JG. At least that seems to be the consensus, right? JG, Jeffrey Goldberg, same initials. JG. When you do not put a profile picture up on Signal, your profile picture literally becomes your initials. Same on Telegram. It's just a colored square with your initials on it. He did this. All of this. He just got sucked in. We're trying to see if he deliberately got sucked in or not.
Was there someone else supposed to be on the chat that wasn't on the chat that you thought was
So
on
the person that I thought was on there was never on there. It was
Who was that? What person?
Well, I'm not. Look, okay. Laura, I take responsibility. I
take responsibility, but we got Elon's science friends to see if he did this deliberately. Well, then you're not taking responsibility, bro.
The group.
Okay.
So but look, that's the part that we have to figure out, and that's the part that embarrassing, yes, but Pete and I are veterans. We know these operations. He has been an excellent Secretary of Defense, and this was an operation that, I mean, it amazes me. I guess the Democrats were fine to leave all the sea lanes shut down. We're fine to have destroyers fired on dozens of times by this terrorist group, and fine to have Iran keep supplying them missiles.
Right.
That was okay. The president takes decisive action, and now we're
This is called whataboutism.
seeing some real success in taking down their air defenses, opening the sea lanes, taking out their leadership. We don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about this.
Now, the Atlantic told us in part that attempts to disparage and discredit us in our reporting follow an obvious playbook.
Carolyn Levitt posted, the Atlantic has conceded these are not war plans. The entire story was another hoax written by a Trump hater who is well known for his sensationalist spin. Because the title of the second article is called, Here Are the Attack Plans that Trump's advisors shared on Signal. Do we think that's a meaningful difference? War plans versus attack plans?
By elected officials and others in power who are hostile to journalists and First Amendment rights of all Americans. They're saying don't blame the messenger. Your response to them?
Lied about Russia, lied about Gold Star family.
Okay.
Lied about even as last, year in terms of the president paying for the family of a Gold Star family that...
All trying to cover up for whiskey leaks, who should be fired, who was never qualified in the first place.
He absolutely did. I mean, lie after lie after lie.
Have they ever apologized for any of that?
No.
Tell me that meaningful difference. Kind of. Tell me that meaningful difference between the first article saying war plans, I was included in a group with war plans, and the second one saying, here's the attack plans. Tell me. I'll wait. If I say the Trump administration texts me the playbook from the Philadelphia Eagles, and then I say, here are the 6 plays they text me, and you're like, but they have 30 plays. They only text you 6 of them? That's not the full playbook. There is no meaningful difference. You started off by saying, I think. So no. There is no meaningful difference. Exactly as was asserted to begin with.
I mean, this is, do we care about the mainstream media? Do we care about the Atlantic? What I care about is staying focused on mission, accomplishing the president's agenda, getting these things done, cleaning up the Biden messes from Afghanistan to Ukraine to the Houthis to the border to China all over South America.
There is no nefarious plot. Trump hired a bunch of stupid fucking retards.
To the Arctic, where we're completely exposed, to NATO that's not paying up, and the president has had success after success. He's got a fantastic national security team.
We realize that the Trump administration and Elon laid off thousands of workers for poor performance reviews they never received. But Trump won't even fire anybody over this whole debacle. That's insane.
I mean, I think it's just stunning how many people on the team have his 100% trust, and there have been enormous successes early on in this administration, but you all are rattling the old cages of the establishment, defense, and national security, embedded people who are still working in government, a lot of great people, but the concern is that somebody got involved here who didn't want the president to be successful, and a lot of us are very concerned about that someone is in this orbit who doesn't want this president of the United States to be a raging success and turn our foreign policy into an America first.
Do you guys know that while they're giving Jasmine Crockett all this shit over fucking Greg Abbott had a tree fall on him, like a freak accident, tree fall on him, paralyzed him, right? He got like a $400,000 lump sum settlements. He sued the homeowners and the tree trimming company, as rightfully so. He got like a $400,000 lump sum and then like $15,000 a month for life in a structured settlement. Okay? And you might say, well, they paralyzed him. Okay, fine. He becomes governor. He becomes governor and helps, promotes, and signs into law a new law in Texas to cap the amounts that you could potentially receive from the same kind of fucking injury and lawsuit that got him all of his money to $250K max. So he went through this whole process, got $400,000 and $15,000 plus a month for life. Then he becomes governor and says anybody else that goes through this, the maximum's $250K forever. Forever. Fuck Governor Hot Wheels.
Approach. Look, we made a mistake. We're moving forward, and we're going to continue to knock it out of the park for this president. Look at what he's gotten done in under 2 months. And I didn't even get going on the economy, on trade, or all of those other pieces.
April 2nd's coming.
Liberation Day.
The DNI was very adamant today and very clear that there was no classified information in this text chat. And the Democrats, of course, are predictably, they're going to jump on this. But
she walked that back today. So she was like, oh, I was going off my recollection. And now I've decided that I just didn't remember it correctly.
Should Goldberg just release the other information that he has? Because he's standing on this, well, I'm not going to release this information because I have my standards and journalistic standards.
He did today.
Okay, but it's not classified information, so does it matter? Would you care if the rest of this information came out?
He actually asked. He sent messages out to all the people involved and said, hey, since this isn't classified, as everybody's testified in front of Congress, I guess I could share the rest of it unless you guys have an issue with it. The CIA asked to not leak the chief of staff because his name wasn't public. Carolyn Leavitt said, yeah, of course we'd have an issue with you leaking it. He leaked it anyways.
Look, I mean, I would prefer, certainly as the president was saying today, if we could all sit in a steel-lined lead room and have all of these conversations. I certainly want our deliberations to stay confidential. This was an encrypted app that the CIA had on sitting there as John Ratcliffe was confirmed and walked into the building from the prior administration. It's on other agency apps. And so, no, of course I don't want it all out there. Because these were conversations back and forth that you should be able to have confidentially. But what you also saw was a healthy policy debate in how we were going to achieve this for the president, what would be the results, what should be the timeline. And I think
even you guys know who Tommy Lauren is? Like right-wing fucking crazy lunatic, honestly. She even came out and said trying to wordsmith the hell out of this signal debacle is making it worse. It was bad. And I'm honestly getting sick of the whataboutisms from my own side. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Admit the F up and move on. Like, even she come out and is like, look, guys, you fucked up. Just say we fucked up. We're going to look into it. We're going to make sure it doesn't happen again and move the fuck on. It's so weird that you're gaslighting us to you can't believe what we see, what we read, what we have access to.
Again, I am fortunate to work for this president. I'm fortunate to help him execute this vision, and incredibly fortunate to have this team around him.
But there's no classified information in this exchange.
No classified information.
But you'd prefer it not to be out.
Of course. I mean, do you want everything?
No. Well, right. I don't work for the government. I mean, this is why that's why texting in general is in government situations.
Again, as the president said, if we could all stay in the same
Yeah.
room, but when we've got people like moving, right? As he said again today, I mean, that would be his preference. I think all of our preference. But when he has people all over the world and we're coordinating these complex operations, we're moving at Trump speed. Fast. Doing all of this. We're cleaning up. I mean, we're doing 5 or 6 legacy-defining things.
By the way, it's kind of starting to show that they are getting some backlash on like the Elon Musk and shit. A Pennsylvania seat just went blue. That's been red for like fucking 46 years or some shit. A Pennsylvania seat just went blue that's been red for 46 years. Donald Trump won there by 15 points.
In the first month. And we're cleaning up multiple Biden messes from the Middle East to Europe to the mess of our border. All at once, at the same time.
You don't need any distractions. You don't need any side stories or distractions.
Yep.
And I think people are watching this. Most Americans don't. They want the answers, the bottom line.
Yep.
You know, about Russia, about Ukraine, about China. But they read stuff like, oh, wait, there was a 2023 DOD memo that said you shouldn't use Signal. And yet you hear Ratcliffe today saying, well, it was commonly used. So doesn't there need to be a standard across the board?
Absolutely.
It is commonly used in place of regular texting. Not for anything classified. In fact, it's part of your briefing that though it's better than texting, it is still not up to the standards for anything that would be classified, anything that could fall into enemy's hands. In fact, there are several briefings that they just started last year about the potential compromises that have taken to Signal, right, from different nations.
Just don't use any of these apps. But then how do you communicate when you're not in a skiff?
Well, that's what you heard. That's what you heard Elon talking about, kind of the mess that is government communications. I could tell you, members.
Elon's giving away $1 million to people who sign a petition to fucking impeach woke leftist judges.
That team, I've been very frustrated
to multiple people
about the quality of our communications. We are working to address that. So one of the things that DOJ is doing is improving our IT, is improving our ability to communicate. And to the extent we get everybody in the same room, always better.
Yeah, it's always better. But you've never met Goldberg. He's out there saying you guys have met in the past, but you've never met him.
No idea. Wouldn't know him if I bumped into him, if I saw him.
No idea. Wouldn't know him. That's different than I guarantee I've never met him.
In a police lineup. Do now. Knew him by reputation about lying about the president over and over again. What I can tell you for certain, certainly wasn't reaching out or talking to him at all. Why would I?
Yeah, well, he's been one of the most vociferous, vituperative so-called journalists out there in the Atlantic.
Well, near and dear to my heart as a veteran is lying about Gold Star families who love this president, veterans who love this president, and are thanking God he's president and commander-in-chief once again. And then you have a defense secretary who this morning I was talking to is working out with the Navy SEALs out in Honolulu, leading, improving morale, improving recruiting, improving lethality, and working with DOJ to improve efficiency and get our warfighters back to meritocracy mission focus. I mean, again, Laura, this team believes in this president. This team likes each other, knows each other, is working. Was there a mistake? Absolutely. We're going to improve it. We're going to fix it. And we're going to move forward to achieve the president's agenda.
Why was Bessent on this text chain? I was curious about that. It was just like little things like, why did Scott Bessent?
Because you have a sanctions regime. This is again right. You had Biden just literally they would swarm our destroyers with drones, cruise missiles, UAVs. At first, he would allow them to just shoot them down, then pinprick attack, then 4 months.
They're claiming, I guess, the claim that he lied to Gold Star families is about the suckers and losers quote and shit that came out. That's the only thing I don't know. I don't know.
Would go by, shut down shipping. 75% of global commerce is getting rerouted. The world owes the president a favor, or excuse me, a thank you for taking this on and fixing this problem. And that is dry up their money, dry up their supply chain from Iran, hold Iran accountable, go after the missiles, go after the leadership. If you're going to move against a terrorist group, you take them out. And that's exactly what this team was doing.
I was actually relieved to see the nature of the exchange among you. I mean, it's kind of cool for regular people just to see, okay, how do these decisions get made with the president and obviously Miller is representing the president. But I actually thought it was really refreshing to see how you all seem to have mutual respect. No one's like blowing off another person's opinion. And none of us know anything about how decisions were made in the Biden administration. Nothing.
Well, or if he was even who was deciding, not how decisions were made, who was actually.
Wait. Michael Watts claimed that he's never met, don't know, never communicated with Jeffrey Goldberg. Here's a photo of Waltz standing next to Goldberg during a 2021 event at the French Embassy. The event Waltz attended, a Q&A with a French filmmaker, was moderated by Goldberg. So that's him. And that's, well, okay. Never met him. Never seen him. Never spoke to him. Wouldn't know if I bumped into him. Well. Jesus Christ. They'll lie about anything, won't they?
Deciding, because clearly it wasn't him. But you see this healthy back and forth, this respectful back and forth, different points of view. But at the end of the day, we're executing the president's vision, the president's direction, keeping it all coordinating and moving at Trump warp speed to do it all at once. I mean, not only have the media been on their back foot and the Democrats been on their back foot, all of our adversaries are on their back foot in terms of how to respond to him and the pace with which he moves.
Are we going to end this Ukraine war soon?
We just had the next step today. We've had an energy aerial ceasefire. We just defined what those targets that are now off limits on both sides are to de-escalate that. Now we're going to the Black Sea. The president's determined to end the war. And even, Laura, I mean, you have the NATO Secretary General, NATO, looking at the president in the Oval Office saying, you broke the logjam. Just months ago, no one was talking. Now we're going from, if this war will ever end, an endless war of people, treasure, and material, to now how it will end. And of course, the people that were in the endless war camp are going to criticize how this president is going to end it, but he is going to.
I keep seeing the Atlantic saying a person who demonstrated open contempt for Gold Star family members. So that's got to be what it's about. They also broke the story that Trump said he needed generals like Hitler had. Yeah.
Drive it to an end, and it's an honor to be part of it.
And lessons learned. Lessons learned after the app. We're not using Signal app anymore.
Yeah, right. Lesson learned number one is you've got journalists out there who have made fame and fortune trying to trash this president.
Yeah.
And so, look, we've got to tighten up. We are tightening up, and we have some of the best technology minds looking at how this happened.
Well, it's happened to the best of us, but President Trump just needs no distractions. He needs to, pedal to the metal.
And Laura, it's the honor of a lifetime to work for him.
Well, I really appreciate your coming in. There's a kind of a confusing set of facts, and thank you very much, sir.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.
Personally have. So you've written checks to other families. Trump turned to the family still present, said, I have because some families need help. Maybe you just don't think, blah, blah, blah. A public memorial service was held in Houston 2 weeks later. It was followed by a private funeral and burial, among other Houston cities. 5 months later, the Secretary of Army, Ron McCarthy, announced the results of the investigation. McCarthy cited numerous leadership failures at Fort Hood. In the process, McCarthy said the murder shocked our conscience. According to the person closest to Trump at the time, the president was agitated by McCarthy's comments and raised questions about the severity of punishments dispensed to senior officers and non-commissioned officers. In an Oval Office meeting, December 4th, officials gathered to discuss separate national security issue. Towards the end of the discussion, Trump asked for an update on the McCarthy investigation. Christopher Miller, the acting Secretary of Defense, Trump had fired his predecessor, Mark Esper, 3 weeks earlier. Writing in a tweet, Mark Esper has been terminated. Was in attendance along with Miller's chief of staff, Kash Patel. At a certain point, according to the two people present at the meeting, Trump asked, did they bill us for the funeral? What did it cost? According to the attendees and to notes of the meeting taken by a participant, an aide answered, yes, we received a bill for the funeral, $60,000. Trump became angry. It doesn't cost $60,000 to bury a fucking Mexican. He then turned to his chief of staff, Mark Meadows, and issued an order. Don't pay it. Later that day, he was still agitated. Can you believe it? He said, according to a witness, fucking people trying to rip me off. This is about a soldier that was killed at Fort Hood, and Trump said multiple times that he would take care of it, he would pay for it, he would do everything. Then he gets the bill for the funeral and claims that he was ripped off. How much money does it take to bury a fucking Mexican? Kawam, the family attorney, told me she sent the bill to the White House, but no money was ever received by the family from Trump. Some of the costs, Kawam said, were covered by the Army, which offered, she said, to allow Gillian to be buried at Arlington National Cemetery, and some were covered by donations. Ultimately, Gillian was buried in Houston. Shortly after, I emailed a series of questions to a Trump spokesperson, Alex Pfeiffer. I received an email from Kawam, who asked me to publish a statement from the sister. Pfeiffer then emailed me the same statement. I'm beyond grateful for all the support President Donald Trump showed to our family during this trying time. Statement reads, I witnessed firsthand that President Trump honors our nation's hero service. We are grateful for everything he has done and continues to do to support our troops. Pfeiffer told me that he did not write the statement and emailed me a series of denials regarding Trump's fucking Mexican comment. Pfeiffer wrote, President Donald Trump never said that. This outrageous lie from the Atlantic 2 weeks before the election. He provided statements from Patel and a spokesperson for Meadows, who denied having heard Trump make the statement. Via Pfeiffer, Meadows' spokesperson also denied Trump had offered Meadows not to pay for the funeral. The statement from Patel that Pfeiffer sent me said, as someone who was present in the room with President Trump, he strongly urged that Specialist Vanessa Gillian's grieving family should not have to bear the cost of any funeral arrangements, even offering to personally pay himself in order to honor her life and sacrifice. In addition, President Trump was able to have the Department of Defense designate her death as occurring in the line of duty, which gave her full military honors and provided her family access to benefits, services, the complete financial assistance. That's crazy, dude. I could see him saying that. How much does it cost to bury a fucking Mexican? I need the kind of generals that Hitler had. Anyways, they're denying it. They deny everything. They always deny. That's where we're at. We also had this beautiful moment from Trump today.
We're going to have tremendous goodies in the bag for women, too. The women, between the fertilization and all of the other things that we're talking about, it's going to be great. We're joined today. Fertilization.
Wait, it gets better.
I'm still very proud of it. I don't care. I'll be known as the fertilization president, and that's okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. I've been called much worse. Actually, I like it, right? I like it. We're going to have tremendous...
He thinks he'll go down in history as being called the fertilization president. The fertilization president.
Tremendous. You're doing great on it, and we're going to have tremendous goodies in the bag for women too. The women between the
Are you guys ready for your goodie bags, women?
fertilization and all of the other things that we're talking about. It's going to be great. We're joined today. Fertilization. I'm still very proud of it. I don't care. I'll be known as the fertilization president, and that's okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. I've been called much worse. Actually, I like it, right?
He likes it.
Thank you.
He likes being called the fertilization president. Our buddy Robbie Roadsteamer rewrote Breaking the Law into Breaking Elon. And we end up with this masterpiece.
Where's ice? Where's ice for Elon? They look like fucking cheese graters.
Sorry, what happened?
I sang, you know Judas Priest, Breaking the Law?
No.
Oh, you don't know anything.
I know a little.
You know, come on. I know Judas. Breaking Elon.
I know Judas Priest.
So
what made you do that?
Well, because Elon's cutting 70,000 veterans, our VA programs. He's cutting Medicare. He's putting it all into shitty Doge, like crypto coin. So I just practiced my First Amendment right of assembly and freedom of speech over there. We had a good time. Plus those cars are, geez, he's got a menacing look. Smile, it's a Tuesday, man.
I'm just listening to you, that's all.
The Undertaker. But yeah, so I just did that. I sang the song a verse or two. I got 150,000 followers on the TikTok, and I'm gonna go home and cut it now. It's the ID's in the car. You want to go to the car?
Yeah, do you mind?
Yeah, no, for sure. Come on, let's all go. You like the thong? No.
Where are we going? Which car?
I don't know. Elon's the enemy. He's in
Can't find his car.
They're talking about ICE. They need to deport Elon back to South Africa. You right?
So, I'm never coming back. You're in debt.
Whatever. This was a 3-cop. This is 5 stars like Grand Theft Auto. They got the 5 stars. Hell yeah.
Did you ever think you'd see something like this in America? Hold on. Let me grab this video. Undercover plainclothes agents with their faces covered swooping in to kidnap students. It just keeps getting better. Welcome to America.
You guys covering your faces? You want to take those masks off? Is this a kidnapping? Yeah, you don't look like it. Why are you hiding your faces? Why are you hiding your faces?
They claim she protested and supported Hamas. She wrote an op-ed at the school she went to, Tufts, asking them to divest and to recognize that there was a genocide going on in Palestine. Short of that, there's really no other evidence. She was one of 4 authors of an op-ed that was written in the student paper.
Can I see some faces here? How do I know this is the police? Seems like bullshit to me. Certainly looks like it. Bit of a kidnapping going on here?
She's a Turkish citizen on a student visa. She's not even listed on ICE website as what center she's in. Well, she wasn't at the time that I was looking this story up. She is a Turkish woman, is a student of Tufts doctoral program, has a master's degree from the Teachers College at Columbia University. She was among several authors of an opinion piece essay criticizing Tufts' links to companies tied to Israel and calling for the school to acknowledge the Palestinian genocide, a message similar to the one Mahmoud Khalil had for Columbia University. Khalil has since been detained by ICE, with the Trump administration seeking to revoke his green card. Ozturks is her last name's photo, and details appear on a website called Canary Mission, a group. So this is where they think that the ICE is picking this up from. So her photo and details appear on a website called Canary Mission. It's a group that says it's dedicated to documenting individuals and organizations that promote hatred of the USA, Israel, and Jews on North American college campuses. So this website called the Canary Mission basically docks these people, and then they feel like ICE is going from these, right? The group says it wants to combat the rise of anti-Semitism on college campuses and issue well-documented since October 7th attacks by Hamas and the subsequent war. Canary Mission says it's on its website that all information published about the individuals is carefully verified before it goes live. In the weeks following the outbreak of the war, when protesters swept college campuses, some protesters fell prey to doxing, with their personal information made public, leading to the threats of their safety. In 2024, Canary faced a lawsuit from Chicago chapter of the Council of American Islamic Relations, which accused the group of aiding in the harassment of students whose information was publicized on its website. So the canarymission.org is this website, where you have like a report an individual shit, all this, and these are the names and the people they keep that they claim are anti-Semitic, and they keep their information, names, and what they've been accused of. And a lot of her friends and people around her think that she was specifically targeted for being on this website. Who knows if that's true or not, but it's scary to think that there is this doxing website for people who write op-eds. Like, what the fuck?
How can you make something move?
And then we have this absolutely horrifying message for anyone seeking to come to the United States. Let's see if we can find it. Christy, no. This bitch records a commercial. Again, they're not convicted of any crime. There's no even alleged crime. And we are taking them from our nation, not sending them home, sending them to a nation they potentially have never even been to, and putting them in a maximum security prison there.
Hey guys, you guys are going. Press, we gotta go back.
Just imagine for a second, you travel to London, okay? And they decide to deport you to it because they see a tattoo on your arm, and they send you to fucking a maximum security prison in Yemen.
First of all, do not come to our country illegally. You will be removed and you will be prosecuted. But no,
That's the TikTok she recorded. We'll watch it in a second.
you will be removed and you will be prosecuted. But know that this facility is one of the tools in our toolkit that we will use if you commit crimes against the American people.
Proposición y conspiración en el delito de homicidio agravado, tráfico ilícito, fabricación, portación, miembro de los 18 sureños.
She keeps getting more and more work done, that's for sure.
First of all, do not come to our country illegally. You will be removed and you will be prosecuted. But know that this facility is one of the tools in our toolkit that we will use if you commit crimes against the American people.
Proposición y conspiración en el delito de homicidio agravado, tráfico ilícito, fabricación, portación, miembro de los 18 sureños.
So we can get our TikTok video.
Here at CCOT today and visiting this facility. And first of all, I want to thank El Salvador and their president for their partnership with the United States of America to bring our terrorists here and to incarcerate them and have consequences for the violence that they have perpetuated in our communities. I also want everybody to know if you come to our country illegally, this is one of the consequences you could face.
She's probably still fuckable, right? We're all full of microplastics anyways. What's a little more plastic?
First of all, do not come to our country illegally. You will be removed and you will be prosecuted. But know that this facility is one of the tools in our toolkit that we will use if you commit crimes against the American people.
This is one of the tools in our toolkit that we will use. Have them all stand up here like a prop piece. We will use it. It's on her Twitter, I believe. Hold on.
It is. Today and visiting this facility. And first of all, I want to thank El Salvador and their president for their partnership with the United States of America to bring our terrorists here and to incarcerate them and have consequences for the violence that they have perpetuated in our communities. I also want everybody to know if you come to our country illegally, this is one of the consequences you could face. First of all, do not come to our country illegally. You will be removed and you will be prosecuted. But know that this facility is one of the tools in our toolkit that we will use if you commit crimes against the American people.
Look at how many people they got stacked in these motherfuckers, dude.
Here at CCOT today.
That's insane. They got racks 4 high and people just stacked in that bitch.
And visiting this facility. And first of all, I want to thank...
She's a horrible fucking person.
...for their partnership.
Did you ever think you'd see a commercial like this in the United States? Like, hey, fuck you. We'll send you to a prison in a country you've never been to before for no crime. For no crime. I don't even remember what this video is. Let's grab it.
Crisscross apple.
Oh, I see. That was from last night. It's still relevant. Still relevant. Gentle parenting for the Signal app.
Crisscross applesauce spoons and bowl. Notice my face. I am so sad, friends. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Is Signal a secure, encrypted military communication system? Yes or no? No. Are we supposed to use any group chat to coordinate airstrikes? No. That was a super sad choice. You could have used your walking feet and sat in a room together and used your words to commit acts of war. I don't care what you did at Fox and Friends, Peter. Catch a bubble. I was gone for 1 day, and Mr. Jeffrey said that while I was gone, you were being mean to Europe? Mr. Jeffrey knows because you added him to the group chat, friend. Yes, I know you get super duper excited talking about bombs. I saw the emojis. But even when Donald is playing golf and you get to play President, JD, you have to calm your body down before talking about national security. Got it? Okay.
Got it.
In front of you, you have some paper. We are going to write I'm sorry notes to our European allies. No, you all are going to write notes because you all
we had nothing to do with
chat. No, not Mr. Jeffrey. JD, no couch. Thank you. Crisscross applesauce spoons and bowl.
No, that no couch at the end is very good. And then we have this utter interrogation. Pretty sad day in America. I think I opened it twice.
Now, Ms. Kerger.
I did.
Now, Ms. Kerger, the American people want to know, is Elmo now, or has he ever been, a member of the Communist Party of the United States? A yes or no?
No.
Now, are you sure, Ms. Kerger? Because he's obviously red.
Well, he is a puppet, but no.
Now, that's not all. He also has a very dangerous message about sharing and helping each other. He's indoctrinating our kids that sharing is caring. Now, maybe he's part of a major socialist plot. Let's talk about Cookie Monster. Now, we know that Health Secretary RFK Jr. is coming out against fast food and baked goods. Are we silencing pro-cookie voters? Yes or no? Ms. Kerger.
But cookies are a sometime food.
Well, thank you. And now I agree with you. And let's
The cookies are a sometime food, okay?
also talking about the most important maybe character on Sesame Street. This is actually Big Bird. Now, Ms. Kerger, since Elon Musk actually fired USDA workers who have been working on the bird flu, does it make sense to also fire Big Bird? Yes or no?
We would like to keep Big Bird.
I completely agree with you. And now it gets even worse. Now, this is actually a tweet that Big Bird actually sent out about the COVID-19 vaccine, encouraging folks to actually get their vaccination, which, of course, we believe in vaccines. Now, perhaps the reason why we're having this hearing is because our chairwoman, Ms. Green, has actually said some really negative things about getting vaccinations. And that perhaps is why we are here. And so we support Big Bird being pro-vaccine and promoting vaccines across this country. Now, I will admit, though, the extreme liberal agenda that you're all pushing, I think, doesn't stop there. This, of course, is Bert and Ernie. Now, these two guys actually live together. They're friends. They're supportive of each other. Now, that might be triggering to our chairwoman and some on this committee, and perhaps that's also why we're here today. Ms. Kerger, an important question. Are Bert and Ernie part of an extreme homosexual agenda?
No.
Thank you, Ms. Kerger, and thank you for being a good sport. So the message, I think, today is very, very simple. If we're going to get rid of any puppeteers, we should get rid of the one that's actually controlling Donald Trump. Fire Elon Musk and save Elmo. Now, Ms. Kerger.
Fire Elon Musk.
I want to know, is Elmo now, or has
and save Elmo,
a member of the Communist Party of the United States? A yes or no?
No.
Now, are you sure, Ms.
Hold on, just a second. I'm looking something up.
Well, he is a puppet, but no.
Now, that's not all. He also has a very dangerous message about sharing and helping each other. He's indoctrinating our kids that sharing is caring. Now, maybe he's part of a major
That's pretty bad.
plot. Let's talk about Cookie Monster. Now, we know that Health Secretary
Obviously.
RFK Jr. is coming out against fast food and baked goods. Are we silencing pro-cookie voters? Yes or no? Ms. Kerger.
But cookies are a sometime.
So some information just came up. You guys know Jeremy from The Quartering. He's like a culture war retard. Like he gets mad because there's like too many women in this video game. Yes, this is real. This happened in front of Congress. That's what the right believes. That Big Bird is trying to get you to get vaccines and Bert and Ernie are homosexuals and Elmo is a communist. Anyways, The Quartering is like a Trump-tard fucking culture war. There's too many women in this, and that original woman wasn't tan. She was ghostly white, so I can't believe you added an ethnic person here. But apparently, Kiwi Farms just shared that he's $300,000 in debt from his coffee company that he tried to launch. And apparently, I thought he was always talking about it like it was doing really good. But he's blaming corporate sabotage. Let me see if I can find this tweet again. Corporate sabotage. The quartering is $300,000 in debt after trying to kickstart Coffee Brand Coffee as a side business, including $80,000 on unsecured personal credit card for a K-Cup production system. He blames the lack of sales on corporate sabotage from the woke left. He argues back. It's only $240,000 now. We're paying it down, but I hope folks will give Coffee Brand Coffee a chance today. They are trying to destroy my company. Here is his videos. Woke leftists just screwed me over and all my staff. Let's watch some of this. I hate the quartering so bad. But you don't understand. I read the original artwork that this video game's derived from, and the person wasn't even Asian. He cries about he's cried more about Marvel movies than I've ever fucking seen Marvel movies. And I'm a Marvel fan.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the quartering. I wasn't sure I was going to go public about this, but it appears I have to now. Many of you know that I've been...
And he wants people to know, he put this on his Twitter, he wants people to know he is absolutely not a Republican. He's a MAGA. He says, people who watch my show know this. Just a reminder for those that are new here, not the people that watch my videos or streams, because you already know, I'm not a conservative. I am MAGA. There's a difference. For good or bad, this is who I am, and I have never called myself conservative. I just think his coffee probably sucks. He doesn't have enough name recognition for a company this big, right? He shouldn't have went in debt for all of this. And he thinks he can ride the wave of everybody's being mean to Tesla into someone buying his fucking shitty coffee.
And I've got a lot of irons in the fire. You've heard me say, hey, I've got my mega mixology cookbook to help fund the new studio. Obviously it's a meme, but you all know I have my coffee company. Well, the coffee company has also been expanding to take on Amazon to try and compete more with bigger names, and to hopefully by the end of the year
take on Amazon.
And for the past 3 years, I've provided Coffee Brand Coffee on remaining completely apolitical, and that's literally why I called it that. Some people think the name is goofy. I get that, but it would have been easier for me to sell liberal tiers.
How can it be apolitical when you yourself are a gigantic political figure in the culture war space and you own it?
Coffee or something like that, but I want my coffee to be on coffee shelves one day. There's a big difference between what I do and what most everyone else does. I don't drop ship my coffee. We roast our own special blends. We hand flavor our beans. We pack our orders. We ship our orders. We handle our customer service. We are not a drop ship outlet. We're a real coffee company. And I made that investment with the plan of having something that could grow. Well, we've never been at our most vulnerable, but right now we're stocking up for Mother's Day, which is an important time of year.
Holy shit. Breaking news. Phone numbers, email addresses, active passwords for top officials, including Pete Hegseth, Mike Waltz, and Tulsi Gabbard, reportedly discovered online. But I thought they were 100% good on OPSEC. I saw a message that said we 100% good on OPSEC. No leaks.
Year for us because we do so well for Mother's Day gift boxes, and we're trying to compete on Amazon, and I'm trying to build a new office. All of these things have stretched basically me to the absolute max. It was fine. You probably saw I was selling my Neo Geo collection. I'm selling my Nintendo collection. I'm selling all this stuff to help fund this stuff. And it's because I believe in the things that I'm doing. But now we hit a roadblock that I need to try and reach out and give you an understanding of why I could use some help. I can't confirm this for sure, but right now with Coffee Brand Coffee, we are basically completely vertically integrated. We roast our stuff, we pack our stuff, we print our own bags, things like that. The only thing that we were reliant on anyone else for was some of the boxes for our K-Cups and some of the procedures around that. It's our coffee, but we had someone else helping, put these boxes together so we could do all that. Well, apparently that person, I don't know this for sure, but I suspect it, saw my YouTube channel and didn't like my politics. And while we have a 12,000 K-Cup order, basically decided to tell us, to pound sand, or I don't know what's going on. We haven't heard any
business, bro.
This is absolutely
tariffs. Put tariffs on your coffee. See if that helps.
Absolutely crippling. I'm already so overextended with Coffee Brand Coffee. I feel like they knew this was the time that they could really cause maximum damage. What is the solution? Well, it's to buy about $80,000 in equipment. And I didn't know what else to do. I can't miss Mother's Day. It's our biggest sale of the year. And so I said, okay, fine, put it on my credit card. We're going to just figure it out. That's a lot of dimp to put on your credit card. But we're going to save Mother's Day, and we're going to bring this last piece of the puzzle in-house. We're even getting a machine to make our own coffee scrub for the ladies and guys out there that want to, do it for skincare. But anyway, to help pay for it, we've done this one other time before, and what I did was I put together this very cool Founders Vault Pack.
Okay.
1,000 of them, and 200 of them are already gone from my live stream earlier today. It includes our freeze-dried strawberries, which are not available anywhere else and will never be available as far as I'm planning anywhere else. You will also be the very first person to get our exclusive spring flavors, tangerine, which trust me is delicious, and cherry cordial, which is also really good. You also get a founder's coin and a signed numbered thank you card from me specifically. I'm be signing them every night for the next 2 weeks. Plus you get a free gift. If I sell out of these, we can afford the machine, and this can never happen again. Many people have probably noticed, hey, we've been out of stock on stuff and things are running behind. It's because of this one hiccup. But if I can convince you to give our coffee a try, which I tell you all the time, I think is the best out there. If you try our spring flavors, you're going to get it before anyone else. You're going to absolutely love it. And you're going to help stick it to this stupid company that has screwed me over. And keep me out of, hopefully out of debtor's jail or whatever. And if you don't like coffee, I still have my Mega Mixology cookbook, which I'll link in the description down below. It's a pre-order that will be shipping around the end of April.
Mega Mixology.
Recipes done. They're like different memes of like cocktails, mocktails, coffee, tea drinks, summer drinks, fall drinks, but it's all got like, our sense of humor. And the tailgates for Trump I put back on sale too, to try and put money together. I just know, and if you don't like flavored coffee, we have tea, we have regular coffee. Our blueberry cobbler is really good. Our silky ultra dark roast is really good. Our 004 is good. Our Ethiopian's good. We have something for you. And so I'm hoping today you'll give Coffee Brand Coffee a chance, or you'll pick up a cookbook to help me get out in front of this a little bit. I know once we get this equipment in the office, there's nothing stopping Coffee Brand Coffee from being in the grocery stores, maybe as soon as the end of this year, hopefully by next year, and in convenience stores and things like that. We really are at an inflection point where a lot of companies would take on investors. I've got $300,000 almost floating right now in debt. I'm just being dead serious because of the huge stock up for Mother's Day. Now I got to buy this machine I wasn't planning on buying. And but if we come out the other side of this, we will be fully stocked on Amazon. We'll be fully stocked on our website. We'll be fully vertically integrated. So we'll be able to lower prices and lower costs. We are doing so much. We handle our own customer service, by the way. Maggie works full-time covering the customer service for our company. I take this seriously because I love this company. And, I don't know why.
And the leftist liberals try to screw him over by canceling his order for Mother's Day.
This guy did this, why this is happening now. It's literally the worst possible time with Mother's Day only 2 months away. Like our Mother's Day gift boxes keep us for the whole year. And if I don't buy this machine, get this stuff handled, get this equipment handled, or, we're going to miss that. And I just can't do it. I can't, I could find somebody else to make the boxes, but they're still going to be 5 or 6 weeks out. And then I could still run into the same problem later. So I think this is basically the last piece. We're actually moving into a new building where I'm going to make a storefront where people can walk in and get the coffee, which I think would be really awesome. That should be open later this year. And I have no interest in opening up coffee shops, but maybe a couple of pop-up shops where it's available would be cool. But I am reaching out, hoping, asking for you to pick up this pre-order Founders Vault Pack. I'll be signing everything all night tonight. And if you don't like flavored coffee, you can just go to shop and you can go to coffee or K-Cups. And we have all of our, double calf. We have decaf. We still have some gingerbread coffee available. That's 50% off right now. We have our cold brew coffees, which is really good. We have everything in K-Cup form, strawberries and cream, blueberry cobbler, all this stuff. We have something for everyone on coffeebrandcoffee.com. And I'm hoping you can help me stick it to this guy and just no more relying on anyone else.
Stick it to this liberal.
Lesson learned. Hopefully, I mean, this will cover a chunk of it, a nice chunk of it. And, you know, once Mother's Day comes around, I'll be able to pay off all the rest of it. Or if we sell a bunch of Trump books. But those are...
Dude, fucking Phil just bought a Rolls Royce. I should have been a grifter. I'm not even blaming him anymore. Like, I should have done it. I'm a fucking idiot. I'm sitting in a fucking house destroyed by a goddamn hurricane with nothing to show for my fucking self. Like, I should have done it.
Supposed to be for the studio. So
I could have airlifted myself out of the fucking flood.
Literally the worst time imaginable to have this happen. And you guys have all been so helpful and thoughtful and supportive with all my various endeavors over the years. Some of them worked, some of them didn't work. But the coffee company is working. I'm not taking on...
People are retarded. Somebody ought to capitalize on that.
Investors, we want to do this ourselves, but I can't do it without your help. And I sincerely hope you'll consider picking up this Founders Pack, which we linked in the description. Or if you just go to coffeebrandcoffee.com, it's right on the homepage. Or picking up something. Support small business. We really, we're about a dozen employees. And we really care. We care about you. We care about our coffee.
Coffee is already pretty crowded, especially with like these, like not the cheapest, right? You want to be some type of artisan brand or whatever, and then getting in a grocery store. You better have a lot of help behind you.
About our organic teas. If you're not a coffee person, we have organic teas available. We have something for you. And then remember us around Mother's Day. All of our gift boxes will be available on Amazon, so you can get them free next day shipped. Making less money, but it's about expanding the reach of us. I'm taking this very seriously, and we've come so far exclusively because of all of you. And I wanted to reach out one more time and see. We've got about 800 of these Founders Packs left, and that's it. Please pick one up today. And if you don't like the flavor coffee, then
$100.
Although I highly recommend this. Exclusively for all of you. And I wanted to reach out one more time and see. We've got about 800 of these Founders Packs left, and that's it. Please pick one up today. And if you don't like the flavor coffee, then there's a bunch of other stuff you can get. Although I highly recommend this. Maggie and I
mean, that's $80,000. How many of these did he make? 800 left at $100 a piece. That's $80,000 right there.
Wife worked very, very hard dialing this flavor in. Multiple iterations. The freeze-dried strawberries are ridiculously delicious too. And they'll all be signed, numbered, and they're going to ship in early April. So
yeah, Tim pulled fucking shills for his coffee. That's sure.
A couple weeks and you'll have it. And you'll get it before anyone else. Our new spring flavors, which are ridiculously good. Thanks so much for always being there for me. If you don't like coffee, you can pick up the Mega Mixology book. And I will not talk about coffee at all tomorrow. Okay, I won't talk about it, but I just figured I'd make a dedicated video because I'm kind of running out of options. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, understand. But we'll talk to you again real soon.
Blame the woke leftists because your business fails. He's trying to capitalize on this. Why is everybody being mean to Elon Musk? He's a good guy. There's a lot of money to be made just in saying, like the left. There's a guy on TikTok all the time. Here's a perfect example. He's not political, but he said some really horrible shit about women at one point and kind of got canceled for it. And he's an author. So he wrote a book. And now he advertises on TikTok. He's like, this is the most canceled book on TikTok. Doesn't that make you want to read it? And people are buying it like crazy. But if you just look into his past, the book isn't canceled. It's him. Like, he's a piece of shit for the things he said about women. But he can capitalize on that righteous anger.
Okay. Do you want to dispute anything that I said in the remaining 30 seconds?
Thank you, Congressman. First of all, I want to recognize your concerns. One of the first things that I did in coming in May was to beef up our editorial standards. I directed my editor-in-chief, who, by the way...
Why is NPR even doing editorials?
Does somebody want to tell him? Does anybody want to tell him that editorial standards and a piece referred to as an editorial are not the same? We beefed up our editorial standards. Why are you even doing editorials? Because we have an editor that reviews everything and there's a standard for that?
Was to beef up our editorial standards. I directed my editor-in-chief, who, by the way...
Why is NPR even doing editorials?
I'm so sorry.
Do editorials?
I don't mean editorial in terms of opinion editorial.
You even need opinion. What does it matter with the opinion? If you're a federally funded entity that's supposed to provide the news, can you not provide the news?
Let her explain how retarded you are.
Of course,
fair and balanced?
Of course, Congressman. I mean, editorial standards for our journalism was to beef up our editorial practices, bringing in more editors to make sure that we have more points of view reflected in every story.
God damn, they're retarded, dude. And these people are in charge. Why you even do editorials? Are you asking why we have editors?
Engaged in a number of actions.
And my time's expired. Concerns. I've lost confidence in public radio. I don't think, Madam Chair, they should get a penny of federal funds. I yield back.
Thank you, Mr.
He didn't even understand the question he asked. I don't think they should get a penny of my federal funds. What is wrong? What the fuck is wrong with these people? Why are you even doing editorials? We're not. It's sad. It's just sad where we live, what the country's become.
Poorly handled, but that said, what I'm satisfied with is if it never happens again. And they've got to make that commitment to or assurance to people so that we don't have to worry about it ever happening again. And I can't imagine it's going to.
Do you think that was classified information that was on there?
It's hard to say. I've talked to some of the people in Intel and whatnot, and it's so detailed, and whether it's technically classified or not, I mean, the president actually has authority to determine these things officially. That said, whatever it is, whether it's considered, quote, classified or just highly sensitive, it was too detailed, whether you can call it a war plan or not, it's just too detailed to pretend it wasn't a big deal.
Do you have confidence in Hegseth?
I do. I do. Regardless of how difficult it is to talk about it today or tomorrow, I have confidence that it's not going to happen again. One thing about it, one thing that the communication did prove is that Pete Hegseth is a warrior's warrior, and that he takes a peace through strength attitude, deterrence by action. He certainly was supportive of the attacks on the Houthis rather than just sitting back and taking attacks from the Houthis, which is what the previous administration did.
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. A group of them were on a group chat. They thought it was safe, and they had a discussion. And I think they made some mistakes in that regard, and I think it was a real learning experience for this group of leaders.
I'm worried about everybody and how they have handled this signal country.
Everybody.
Do you think you should? It's really concerning.
Should he resign?
I think we're going to figure out. It appears that Mr. Walz has accepted fault for it. I don't know.
Yeah, but Hegseth had all those battle plans he discussed, and is that?
Does it concern me? Hell yes.
I can't see any rationale for the kind of conversation that took place over Signal for not taking place in a more secure manner than that. I think
they're lazy.
Hard to explain.
They're above the law.
The Committee on Armed Services, I understand, is going to conduct hearings, and I hope what errors seem to have occurred result in different ways of doing business in the future.
Did it seem like there was this classified information that was being discussed by Pete Hegseth?
I mean, I've listened to the conversation in both hearings yesterday and the news media today. I know there's this controversy about what's classified. I haven't seen the words that were said, but certainly the topic is of a nature in which you would not want our adversaries to know. You certainly wouldn't want the details known, and this form of communication allowed that to happen.
Mariah thinks you guys might want to see this. It's been 6 months since the flood. Here's the 6-month update. By the way, this is the hotel that Suko stayed in. That's the local gas station. This is the interstate. See the road coming down the hill? This is the interstate. That's our hospital underwater. Jesus Christ. Anyways, here you go.
Little Germany is a complete loss at this point. The road to Little Germany is completely washed away.
We shouldn't have worked. We shouldn't have been there. None of us should have been there.
Are you doing okay?
Yeah. She'll take her own time.
The audio's fucking blown out on this, dude.
The lives of so many in our community were changed 6 months ago this week.
You've actually been banned from ever coming back. I had you deported from the county.
When Helene moved across the region, dumping a massive amount of rain and causing devastating flooding.
Throughout the week, we will be revisiting some of the hardest hit communities in our area to see where they are on the road to recovery. The images from the days after the initial flooding.
Look at that dude's goofy ass tennis shoes. Do you guys see those? What is that? What are those? Way to draw all the attention to yourself, guy.
We will be revisiting some of the hardest hit communities in our area to see where they are on the road to recovery. The images from the days after the initial flooding are unforgettable. Perhaps the hardest hit area in the region.
I worked there. That building they just showed. I worked there for a few weeks when I was in high school. This is a feed and seed store. So I didn't actually work. I worked for the guy that owned this, like helping him farm and do hay and cattle and all the shit he did. And at the Ford, he owned the local Ford place. I was like a utility employee, and they didn't have an employee quit. And they weren't hiring somebody for a minute, so I worked here for a couple of weeks to cover it. It's a feed and seed store, and like an outdoor outfitters kind of place. They sold hunting licenses and guns and shit like that. And then there was a big storage unit here that had all the feed and seed.
Hardest hit area in the region was Unicoi County.
News 5's Johnny Nordello spent weeks in Unicoi County after the
That's our interstate bridge that's gone.
initial flooding, and she went back to the area this week to get an update on the county's recovery. Friday, September 27th, 2024, is a day that no one in our region could prepare for. Floods caused by Helene affected hundreds of thousands of people and left some with nothing but the shirts on their back, and for others, it was their last day alive. This is a story of a small Northeast Tennessee community called Unicoi County. They were one of the hardest hit areas, but are working on rebuilding one day at a time. Was a week
That's right beside where my parents live.
for Apple Festival, the largest event in our county, and we were preparing for it. Never dreamed that this would happen. We knew it was flooding. We thought it was just going to be a normal flood like we get, so we were working.
I mean, looking back now, it was very naive. We knew the forecast was really bad. We'd already called school off. I think most of the region had, but generally those forecasts don't materialize, as bad as it was forecasted.
Can you kind of take me back to the day when the floods hit? Did you expect it to be as bad as it was?
We had no anticipation that the flood was going to be anywhere of the magnitude that we saw. The day before, we actually had received a lot of rain.
Officials
I don't think you're a real fucking person.
tell me the day before the floods on September 26th was an average rainy day with minor flooding.
So there's that stream of moisture coming northward all the way from the Gulf of Mexico. This is out ahead of Helene.
However, it also became the last day everything was
Riverview Church just collapsed. The whole bridge just now collapsed. It's coming down the river. It's going into houses up here. We need to evacuate these people.
The water that was coming out of the gorge, coming down the Nolichucky that day, it was like it was mad. The trees that were floating by with stumps as big as cars still attached to them, and just not just one, hundreds. As far as you could see, it was just a debris field of just trees and debris coming down.
Oh, here, we can look at this. So typically, back up. Typically, the river goes from not even all the way, we'll call it, let's say these Red Banks. This is called Red Banks. It's a local swimming hole. There's usually another like 30 feet there. Typically, the river goes from about right here to about right here. That's it, right? What is that, 1/5 of the screen? And when they pan around, you can see how far out of the banks it is. It goes from right here to right here. That's it. These trees are not underwater or nothing beyond that. And there's usually more bank here, too. There's even a road that's missing already. But just call it the banks to right there. And then watch them pan around to see how far this goes.
Hundreds. As far as you could see, it was just a debris field of just trees and debris coming down.
Makes you feel insignificant. It's very humbling, right? To see kind of that power, that level of destruction happening in places where you just kind of take for granted that these roads, these bridges, these businesses, these homes, these people are here, right? And to see them very quickly just wiped away is a very humbling experience.
For context, during peak season, Niagara Falls rushes at 100,000 cubic feet per second. On the day of the flood, the strength of the Nolichucky surpassed that, roaring through its banks at 160,000 cubic feet per second. The south side of Unicoi County is the area most affected, where 50 people had to be rescued by helicopter on the roof of the Unicoi County Hospital. One of those rescued
chat isn't blocking it. Chat doesn't even cover the end of the videos right here before the chat even starts.
Was the county's EMA director, Jimmy Irwin. Irwin shared this cell phone footage from that day.
We train our lives to handle situations like that, but we were scared. Most of the people on the hospital called their family members, told them goodbye. It was scary, probably one of the scariest things in my life. And as I made my phone call to my wife to tell her goodbye.
Biden was supposed to fix it in a month. That's never been a claim ever in any way, shape, or form.
You know, hey, we're good. You know, we'll be home later. And I kept trying to stay positive with her, but in the back of your mind, you know, this could be it. It took me a few minutes as I come up in the helicopter and as I flew around and I looked and I was like, oh my God, it hit the industrial park. You know, bridges are out.
Working at the industrial park were 6 Impact Plastics employees, all of which whom fell victim to the flood.
I knew some of these people. I knew the families. The families knew me, the Hispanics.
I don't know about the depth in the river. I don't even know what it normally runs. Probably 30, 40 feet deep at its deepest spots. But it was more like it just escaped the banks. So even if it's only 5, 6, 8 foot deep, it's 600 yards outside of its banks.
And we had a bond. I talked with them, and we talked daily. And we were working hard, and we felt the pain that they were feeling. It's our community.
We'll never get over those that we lost, and we mourn with those families.
The devastation ripped my heart out because I know these people personally and I love them. And my heart hurts for what they've lost. And my heart hurts for the people that we lost.
Apart from the human tragedies,
right now there's just piles of shit everywhere. They can't even haul it out fast enough. There's just fucking everywhere.
Infrastructure and
I swam through a lot of it to get shit and people and fucking things we didn't want floating away. And most of the time I could walk. It was just if the fucking current was so strong, I would like walk for a few steps, then I'd have to swim for a few steps. It was just pushing me too hard.
The economy also took a major hit.
On the 27th, we approximately had 20 houses that were destroyed, and probably another 20, 30 people who had damage of it. But as a whole, our whole population in Cook County, which is like 17,800, everyone in Cook County was affected. Even if they didn't get rain damage that day, the psychological, the mental effects of the way our community will never look like it did before.
We had 283 jobs in our...
Oh, I get what you're saying.
It was wiped out, immediately became unemployed. So there's probably not a life or a family that's in our community that either they were affected or a family member was affected.
Insofar that disproportionately, the primary damage we suffered is economic in terms of job loss. Certainly, we've had people who lost their lives. We had people who lost their homes. But it's the job loss that's going to have those ripple effects to a significantly higher number of people.
While there are many challenges and the heartache is still raw, the community has come together, determined to rebuild.
It's being cleaned. It's just they can't haul it off fast enough.
We're trying to secure the money through FEMA to rebuild all of our roads, because once the dump trucks and all of the construction is completed, our roads are in really bad shape. So
our interstate is so fucking horrible just from the extra traffic of all the dump trucks currently. Like, it is so bad, like gigantic fucking potholes and shit. But they just keep patching them instead of actually repairing them, because when all this is done, it's going to have to be legitimately repaired.
Hoping to have the money secured to repave all of them, fix all of the communities back.
As tourism director, I am scared because everything has changed and a lot of our businesses can't open this year. But
yeah, years probably.
I know them very well, and I know that they're going to do everything they can to bring their businesses back, and they're going to do everything they can to make this new.
Look at these. I mean, that's a fucking big ass dozer, and it's fucking, look at that pile of shit.
Normal work for us.
It feels like a lifetime ago, but it's really 6 months. And in 6 months, a lot has taken place. If you go to the industrial park, you'll see the road that's put in. There's some infrastructure that's available now for the facilities. Some of the businesses that are in the industrial park are just second to none. They're committed to reopening, although it's a very expensive, that's a very huge loss. But they're committed to Unicoi County and their employees, and they're working very hard to reopen.
And the biggest need in the community right now, more helping hands.
If you're out there and want to get involved, we need people to get connected to this work. There are some very specific ways that we can enable that to happen. We have committees that we've set up, basically structured the work into finance, into construction, into spiritual health, into advocacy, all these different types of services that are needed in the community. We need the community to serve as part of those. I don't want it to get back to the way it was before the flood.
They actually lost an excavator underneath this bridge the other day. I don't know how. Don't ask me how. I almost lost an excavator in a pond, so I'm probably not the guy to talk about it. but they lost an excavator underneath this bridge.
I want it to be better. I want us to advance. And there's no reason, with all the resources that we have here, there's no reason why that shouldn't be possible.
What happened is not just a story of despair and destruction, but rather of resilience.
I'm very hopeful. I'm optimistic. I show my emotions a lot of time, but we'll get there.
What we can do is we can serve our community to the best of our ability now, and that's what we have been doing, and we're going to move forward, and we're going to build back bigger and better.
It was the most devastating but yet inspiring thing, ever. And I wouldn't think those two things could live in the same world, but they did.
That guy's an awesome guy, John English.
Of our history and our past, but we can't allow it to define our future.
3 or 4 years, being able to see the sunshine come up and the river flowing and grass back in the areas where it wasn't will be a good day.
And knowing that there is, in fact, hope after Helene.
That audio sucks, dude. There's been some updates on Luigi Mangione.
Within 20 days after the defendant's arraignment,
The prosecution has been holding.
Idiot just resubscribed for 35 months. I'm almost 3 years old.
Uh-oh. Thank you for the resubscription. So not only it was they didn't read him his Miranda rights and held him against that, right, and question him, but apparently they've been withholding evidence since the case has been going. He might end up getting away with this, getting off.
on indictment, which occurred on December 23rd, 2024, 88 days as of the date of this writing. The defense has still not got the names, identities, and statements from potential witnesses 3 months after Mangione's New York State indictment. Now, by law, it's supposed to be they get that 20 days later. Well, it's now over 90 days later.
Hey, it's Jordan. I am in Flint, Michigan, East Palestine, Ohio, Tumwa.
This is Status Quo News.
Independent outlet on the ground covering what the corporate media covers up.
Hey, it's Jordan with Status Quo. A major new bombshell, if you ask me. Court filing in the case of Luigi Mangione, the alleged shooter of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. This in the case of the state of New York against Mangione. We have the state of New York against Mangione. We have the federal government against Mangione and the state of Pennsylvania.
If it were up to me, just reading the law and seeing how the police interacted with him, nothing he said to the police can be held against him. The fake ID he gave to the police, the gun, the bag, the manifest, none of that's going to be able to be admissible in court.
Yeah, this one is in the state of New York. Among many things, in I believe a pretty explosive court filing, Mangione's defense attorneys in New York, led by Karen Agnifilo-Friedman, they are alleging that the prosecution, that would be District Attorney of New York Alvin Bragg, infamously prosecuted Trump over Stormy Daniels and all that. Mangione's defense is alleging that Alvin Bragg and the state of New York is deliberately withholding evidence from Mangione's defense for as long as 3 months. That they are violating Mangione's constitutional.
Yeah, if you want updates on this case, this is the one I always check out. I think Rob's the one who sent it to me originally. Then I try to check out this channel. It's Status Quo News. He does a good job keeping up with it.
It's that the defense is, quote, missing essential records, that the defense has not obtained access to Mangione's electronic devices, for which the prosecution claims there's alleged evidence against him, that the prosecution is leaking evidence to the media before handing it over to the defense. The prosecution in criminal proceedings is supposed to provide evidence through the discovery process to the defense, so any defendant has a chance to review and defend themselves. They are also, Mangione's attorneys, alleging that the prosecution is withholding evidence linked to the terrorism charges, those controversial terrorism charges against Mangione, and finally, that they are denying Mangione himself the ability to review evidence against him by denying him a secure laptop where he could review the evidence in the Metropolitan Detention Center where he's at. There's a 12-page court filing. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I will read quite a bit of it. The link to this court filing we will put in the description right under this video if you want to read along. But this was filed on Friday, and you know, I'm not a lawyer, but it sure seems like there's a lot of fishy things going on here. And Mangione's lead attorney is a pretty well-known attorney in New York. So I'm pretty confident that what she's writing has some meat on the bone here. This is again filed by Karen Friedman Agnifilo. She is alleging to the court, she is asking the court to require the district attorney's office, that would be Alvin Bragg, to provide defense counsel and the defendant, Mangione, with the full discovery in their possession. This is, I mean, we're talking well over 3 months after the indictment in New York. Precluding the district attorney's office from filing a late request for a protective order for the remaining discovery. We'll get to that in a bit. Granting permission for Mr. Mangione to use a laptop while in federal custody to facilitate his review of discovery once it is provided. Extending the current motion schedule to allow defense counsel, Mangione's attorney, and the defendant necessary time to obtain and review the voluminous discovery once it is received from the district attorney's office, and granting such other reliefs as the court deems appropriate. So now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty here. This is discovery update and demand for discovery. As the court is well aware, CPL 245.20, pointedly titled Automatic Discovery, states that, quote, the prosecution shall disclose to the defendant and permit the defendant to discover, inspect, copy, photograph, and test all items and information that relate to the subject matter of the case and are in the possession, custody, or control of the prosecution or persons under the prosecution's direction or control. This automatic requirement includes civilian witness statements, testimony, names, and contact information for all persons whom the prosecutor intends to call as a witness or who may have relevant information about the case within 20 days after the defendant's arraignment on indictment, which occurred on December 23rd, 2024, 88 days as of the date of this writing. So, dumb it down for you. The defense has still not got the names, identities, and statements from potential witnesses 3 months.
That's insane.
Mangioni's New York State indictment. Now, by law, it's supposed to be they get that 20 days later. Well, it's now over 90 days later. So they're saying, Mangioni's defense, we need to review who the witnesses are, what their witness statements are, and be able to contest it to defend Mangioni. What would be taking so long for the prosecution to provide that? We'll continue with that. Despite this clear requirement, the defense has yet to receive any civilian witness discovery. The defense has received the following. On February 21st, the district attorney's office informed the court that...
No, they have to read you your... That's not true. They have to read you your rights when they're going to question you. When you're detained and they're going to question you, the shit that'll be used against you. That's why it says anything you say can and will be used against you.
That it produced a total of 800 gigabytes of discovery in 2 batches, the first batch on January 22nd and the second minutes before the court appearance in February. The district attorney's office stated that it was preparing a 3rd batch of discovery to provide within 2 weeks of the court appearance, that it would include ECMS files, all NYPD DDS files, and the search warrants and court orders, which they subsequently...
Before being interrogated while in custody. That can take place on the street. That can take place wherever.
Provided on March 10th.
They held him for over 2 hours, and he was not free to leave. So a normal person would assume that he's being held in custody. They separated him from his belongings, and then they questioned him for almost 2 hours at a McDonald's.
2025. The DDS refers to digital notepads used by detectives for complaint follow-ups, by the way. The court then set a motion schedule with the defense...
Custody means you're not free to leave, or a reasonable person in your situation would not feel free to leave. And interrogation is questioning or actions that are likely to elicit an incriminating response.
Motion due on April 9th, 2025, which is 48 days from the February 21st court appearance. While discovery provided thus far is voluminous, it is far from complete, and most notably, it is missing essential records, let me repeat, that are in the prosecution's possession and necessary for defense motions. For example, the prosecution has yet to provide the defense with any non-law enforcement discovery, including civilian grand jury testimony and NYPD DD5s, which are those digital notepads. In addition to civilian witness records, the defense has also not been provided with access to or copies of the information contained in the electronic devices alleged to have been recovered from Mr. Mangioni. As of the date of this writing, we have yet to receive these additional materials, nor has the prosecution requested the protective order that they stated they will be seeking. There is no good reason why Mr. Mangioni has not been provided with complete discovery, all of which is entirely in law enforcement's possession. Not only is there no legitimate basis for a protective order to withhold this information for the defense, but there's also no connection between Mr. Mangioni and any purported threats to anyone. So, if you've ever watched Law & Order or any of these crime shows, protective order is essentially an order where the prosecution is asking the court to allow them to conceal the identity of witnesses for their protection so that they are not susceptible to threats or violence before a potential trial. So the district attorney essentially has previewed that they're going to issue or request a protective order for alleged witnesses, but it's over 3 months since the original indictment and they have not done so yet. And I mean, unless the witnesses are public, which I have not seen, I know there was some talk about, witness in Starbucks or something, but why would you need a protective order if the witnesses are not public? What threats are they facing? How would Mangioni be a threat to the witnesses when he's in prison? And again,
I think there's another update about this, that some fan slipped him a heart-shaped note, and now they're claiming that he's like a danger to society because he got slipped a note from a fan.
How would these witnesses face any threat when their names thus far have been concealed? Doesn't really make a lot of sense. Let's go on. Moreover, the people should not be permitted to seek a protective order at this late date, as they have already violated the discovery statute by failing to turn over statutorily required discovery.
Yeah, you can't do a protective order after you've already fucked it up this bad. Let's look at this most recent one. Hold on. Status quo about the heart-shaped note.
And again,
he's got a bunch of fangirls.
Any threat.
This one. He poses a threat after fans smuggled heart-shaped notes to him.
how, if you're giving him access to video footage, how is he going to identify who the people around, who potential witnesses are? How would he know who they are? I mean, it just doesn't make sense on its face. I just think New York City District Attorney's Office is just throwing a bunch of bullshit at the wall and seeing what sticks and banking on the court having deference to them and denying Mangioni's defense.
Hey, it's Jordan. I'm in Flint, Michigan, East Palestine, Ohio.
Status quo. Significant news in the case of Luigi Mangioni, the alleged shooter of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Yesterday, New York City's District Attorney's Office filed in court opposition to Mangioni and Mangioni's defense in New York. Their request to provide Mangioni with a...
So the same one that he just read 2 days ago, they filed an answer to that.
Prison and court-approved laptop so that he could review the alleged evidence against him while imprisoned at the Metropolitan Brooklyn Detention Center. And the reason is interesting. That's an understatement. They say that giving him a laptop would pose a threat to the public. They also argue that Mangioni cannot be trusted by the court because for one of his court appearances, a supporter of his managed to smuggle into him a heart-shaped note wrapped in a pair of socks. So therefore, he cannot be trusted. I'm not going to read the whole motion because
a heart-shaped note in a pair of socks.
It's very long. I'm going to give you what I believe are the important parts. A lot of the beginning of the motion, the New York City District Attorney's Office basically puts out a he said, she said. And what I mean by that is, as I reported yesterday, we'll put the link to that video under this video in the description. Luigi Mangioni's defense very, very meticulously laid out why they were arguing the New York State prosecution has not provided legally required discovery to Mangioni's attorneys, discovery meaning evidence, and that Mangioni's attorneys had argued
they were pre-stiffened socks.
They are late by as much as 90 days to providing crucial discovery, including civilian witness statements, allegedly against Mangioni. So a lot of the beginning of the file is New York City District Attorney's Office basically saying he said, she said, that's not true, we did provide it. So I'm not going to bother reading that part. I will read what I think is the most important parts here. And this, again, was filed yesterday in court in New York by New York City District Attorney. Moreover, even assuming that defendant was able to show prejudice related to a discovery violation, defendants seek an inappropriate and extreme sanction. While defendants' attempted litigation of the merits of a protective order are premature, a protective order meaning the defense is arguing against the issuance of a protective order. The prosecution is arguing for a protective order, even though they haven't officially requested one. And a protective order is just the prosecution asking to withhold from the defense the name and identity of civilian witnesses.
I could understand them not giving them to the public. But he's in fucking prison. Like, they probably don't want to give it to the public because this case has so much hype that the witnesses might be harassed or some shit, right? But he's in fucking prison, or he's in jail. What the fuck's he going to do to witnesses?
For their protection. Very common in criminal cases where there's violence.
Is there like some type of history of him like harassing witnesses? I don't think so.
But in this case, the defense, Mangioni's attorneys are arguing there's no need for a protective order. Mangioni poses no threat to potential civilian witnesses that could potentially incriminate him. So the district attorney's office here argues, while defendants' attempted litigation of the merits of a protective order are premature, even a skimming of the news media, which defendant often cites to, highlight the concern of the safety of individuals who cooperate with the people's investigation. Defendant's conduct has directly led to several instances of harassment, backlash, and death threats against both individuals who have cooperated with the investigation, as well as prospective witnesses, including employees of the Altoona McDonald's, where defendants was arrested, members of the Altoona Police Department who simply did their duty, and healthcare professionals both associated with United Healthcare and others in the industry generally. So we must protect the healthcare executives at United Healthcare. The acts of those who sympathize with the defendant show that nobody associated with the case is off limits to acts intended to intimidate and coerce. As a result, the people will seek to protect the identities of all civilian witnesses and the extent of their cooperation with the incident investigation. Despite defendant's blanket claim that, quote, no basis exists for any protective order, counsel is well aware of the concern for witness safety, witness intimidation online, and via social media, and the chilling effect that it would have on the cooperation of vital witnesses should their identities and contact information be disclosed to a defendant well in advance of trial, particularly in cases of this nature. It would be illogical and absurd for a court to endanger witnesses or victims by refusing to consider a prospective protective order due to an alleged failure of the prosecutor to provide discovery. The people intend to file a motion for a protective order on limited items in the coming weeks. So there's a lot there. Let me first say, in general, I have seen this in my coverage and investigation in the case of the Flint water cover-up. There is a need in some cases, in many cases, to protect the identity of witnesses, particularly if you're dealing with high-level government officials that if they learn the identity of witnesses that could incriminate them, or organized crime, there could potentially be efforts to intimidate them. There could be efforts to actually inflict violence upon them. But in this case...
he needs the shit. He and his lawyers need the shit, right? Even if you have to put a gag order on telling them not to say it to the press or leak it, right?
They're arguing, the New York
Jesus Christ.
Attorney's Office is arguing that if you give civilian witness statements to the defense, that somehow the defense is going to leak the identity of civilian witnesses to what, the Luigi mob? That's essentially what they're arguing, that Mangioni and his defense could, leak the identity or information if it's going to the defense. Well, that's kind of at odds with Mangioni's own alleged.
They're trying to set him up to be unprepared for his fucking case is what they're trying to do, right? Like, they're trying to proceed as far as they can along without him even knowing what the evidence against him is.
Words. I mean, the New York prosecutors and the New York State District Attorney's Office, they're the ones that put out and leaked to the media.
Not only this, but they've already pranced around talking about how they got him, the CEO killer, this guy, he's the one, his manifesto, and they've already fucking spoiled the well, so to speak.
His alleged notes and his alleged manifesto. Again, I say alleged because I can't verify it, and that's why we have a court of law. But the court, the New York City District Attorney's Office, is the one that leaked that in a spiral notebook they found that they are alleging belonged to him. Mangione had written that he originally had thought of, quote, using a bomb at this investors conference where Brian Thompson, the United Healthcare CEO, was shot and killed against his intended victim. But then he decided not to because that could, quote, kill innocence, and that a shooting would be more targeted, quote, to kill the CEO at his own bean counting conference. So again, this is all alleged. I can't verify it, and we need a court of law.
What could be better than killing a CEO at his own bean counting conference?
To verify that this was indeed Mangione's writing, and he wrote this. But according to what they leaked, Mangione did not want to kill innocents. He changed or switched the plan from potentially a bomb to a targeted killing because he did not want to kill anyone he considers innocent. Obviously, it's alleged that he did this, but allegedly, if he did this, it's because he did not believe Brian Thompson was innocent. So in one breath, you're going to leak notes. If you're the New York City District Attorney's Office, you're going to leak his alleged notes to the media and the public that show it seemed that he had some type of moral determination that he didn't want to kill innocents, but then you're going to say, oh no, if we provide to his defense the identity of civilian witnesses, they're going to leak that somehow and go after those innocents. Those two don't match. This isn't me saying this as a Luigi stand or something. This is just common sense. You can't, on one breath, use his own alleged words, he doesn't want to kill innocents, but then say he might pose a threat. Or providing civilian witness testimony, which I think the defense would be entitled to, that somehow poses some grave threat to civilian witnesses. Doesn't make sense. Now let's move on to the laptop, where Mangione has requested a laptop to review evidence while he's detained, which the New York City District Attorney's Office is arguing against. The defense further asked this court to provide its position regarding providing defendant with a personal laptop to review state discovery for subsequent litigation in federal court. The people submit that the court should deny defendant's application for the laptop and reject defendant's assertions that he's being treated unfairly. We acknowledge that counsel sought our approval of a, quote, specially formulated laptop, and the people declined to consent to defendant being provided a personal laptop. Contrary to counsel's claim in the letter, the people's understanding upon conferral with the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, that's the federal case against them, is that they have not taken a position on whether they would consent to the specialized computer for review of discovery. In fact, the United States Southern District has not provided discovery in their matter in any form. The U.S. Southern District Office simply says they would not object if we agreed to the special laptop for review. However, we do object for the reasons set forth below. First, defendant fails to show a necessity for defendant to receive a laptop in order to review discovery. Upon conferral with the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, the people learned that MDC generally objects to the provision of laptops to inmates, and for that reason, very few have them. Meaning some are provided laptops.
Right, some do. Some that need them.
So there is not an across-the-board policy that a inmate or a defendant cannot have a laptop to review evidence, as they're writing right there. Very few have them, meaning some do. Notwithstanding, the people were informed that the defense can petition.
At the very least, anything he said to those police officers is probably going to be thrown out.
A court to order the provision of a laptop, arguing, among other things, that a defendant has inadequate access to discovery or a laptop is necessary for an imminent trial. However, these circumstances are not present here. Metropolitan Detention Center assured the people that this defendant has ample access to desktop computers where he is housed to review discovery, conduct legal research, send emails, and draft motions. They informed us that the defendant further already has access to paper discovery, which he is allowed to keep on his person and review. Well, I mean, you're only out of your cell for X amount of hours per day.
Paper discovery of videos.
You have to eat. They give you some time for exercise at these places. So, I mean, that's fairly subjective that he has ample time to go through evidence on a desktop computer. I don't know how many hours a day they give him to go on a desktop computer. It's likely not enough considering a ton of video evidence that he would have to go through, among other document evidence. Moreover, the digital discovery is the exact type of discovery that is concerned of this case. Given the impossibility to review and redact all raw video surveillance obtained with respect to this case, there is concern that should defendant have unfettered access to video surveillance, he may disseminate images of civilians captured on said video surveillance. As the defense notes, the people are concerned about the sensitive nature of the materials at issue prior to the litigation of a protective order. I mean, I don't really understand that. Maybe you could tell me in the comments if you do. First of all, they're not just handing him a laptop. They wouldn't be just handing him a laptop with full internet access where he could browse whatever he wants. They would be, itemizing in a specific file format for him to be able to review video surveillance, alleged evidence through documents. There'd be PDFs, maybe .mov files, .mp4 files, but how is he going to disseminate that? You're not giving him access to his email. You're not giving him access to like Dropbox, WeTransfer, ways that you could upload and email out files. How is he going to disseminate any of the footage out? How, if you're giving him access to video footage, how is he going to identify who the people around, who potential witnesses are? How would he know who they are? I mean, it just doesn't make sense on its face. I just think New York City District Attorney's Office is just throwing a bunch of bullshit at the wall and seeing what sticks and banking on the court, having deference to them and denying Mangione's defense. But the idea that he's going to disseminate, just by giving him a laptop so he could look at video surveillance, look at your evidence, he's somehow going to disseminate that. How's he going to do it? He's going to fart it out and it will leave the jail and go out to the public? Doesn't make any sense. But now let's move on to, honestly, the most absurd part of the filing, which is basically the New York City District Attorney arguing Mangione can't be trusted with a laptop. His defense can't be trusted with the identity of civilian witnesses and their statements because a Luigi groupie somehow smuggled in a heart-shaped note in Argyle socks while he was in court. While the defendant continues his unsubstantiated complaints of unfair treatment, the people find it important to make the court aware of how the special treatment to the defendant's benefit was violated when the people made accommodations for defendant's fashion needs during the last court appearance. So a little jab there about his fashion needs. Whereas most incarcerated defendants must wear jail-issued clothing at their calendar appearances, the people have ensured that this defendant has had the opportunity to change into different clothing when producing him to court. Prior to the February 21st, 2025 court appearance, Major Mike McKee, a New York State court officer assisting in defendant's transport, was given a bag of clothing for the defendant by members of the defense team. Investigator Sergeant Louis Capalupo was charged with searching the clothing. Among these items of clothing was a new pair of Argyle socks wrapped around cardboard. Secreted in the cardboard were 2 personal heart-shaped notes, one addressed to an unknown person named Joan, and the other to Luigi, stating in part, quote, "No, there are thousands of people wishing you luck." In spite of this, the defendant was permitted
that could throw this whole thing off the rails.
to wear the Argyle socks while he first changed into and later changed out of because he felt, quote, "they did not look good." Fortunately, the items smuggled were handwritten notes and not contraband capable of harming transporting officers. So, yeah. Can't trust the guy. Don't give him a laptop. Don't give his defense the civilian witness statements, the identity of the civilian witnesses, because supporters sent in heart-shaped notes in socks. I've seen some legitimate calls in my over a decade of investigative reporting to protect the identity of witnesses, and then I've seen a lot of bullshit, which this, I would say, is one of them. He allegedly did a very heinous thing, but they also, through their own leaks to the media, have indicated he seemed to not want to harm or kill what he deemed to be innocents. So you can't give him a laptop because...
All right. That'll wrap it up, guys. Here is my prediction. We're moving 2 carrier strike groups to the Middle East. We've also rerouted quite a few B-2 bombers to a site that we often use for long-range Middle East bombing attacks. And we've upped our security around a lot of places associated with Iran. I think within the next month that there'll either be a credible threat from Donald Trump or a preemptive strike against Iran and their nuclear facilities. Like, I might be wrong. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it's a conspiracy theory. But you know how much Trump bitches about Iran, their nuclear capabilities, how Biden and Obama made them rich, he had them broke. I honestly think that they're going to strike the nuclear capable facilities in Iran. It sounds as bad as it is. So we'll see what happens. That's my prediction. We'll see what happens. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. You guys have a good night, and I'll see you on the next one.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the forking balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the forking balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit.
Where my true believer?
Y'all need Jesus.
Praise the Lord, head to the extreme.
All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like fool in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
Good night, guys.
When I was